I think I'm recording. Yes, I am recording. Brilliant. Okay, so IE University. You probably all studied there at some point. They want to become pioneers in terms of sustainability. They want to lead in the academic world in everything that they do. And they believe that education and their role as educators is important in terms of achieving the SDGs. So they have 4 main lines of action when it comes to becoming more sustainable at IE. Those 4 are teaching, research, using the institution as a role model, and achieving impact in their community and with their partners. So this is their campus. This is an overview of everything that is sustainability related at IE at the moment. So on the left-hand side, there's the sustainability research centers at IE. This includes the Sustainable City Centers, Center for the Governance of Change, the HR Center. So all of these research centers are somehow connected to their work on sustainability. And then on the right-hand side, we have the clubs. And ours is there. Ours is actually the first Social Innovation and Sustainability Alumni. That's us. And then there's a bunch of other clubs as well, including the IE Net Impact Club, which is quite well known. They have an IE Charity Club, SDG Club. So there's actually all of these different clubs popping up with similar objectives, similar goals. And one thing that IE is now doing, which is really positive, is that they are trying to homogenize or bring together all of these different things that are happening in different parts of the institution and outside of it to sort of focus it into achieving more targeted goals. This brings us to the 10-year challenge, a stairway to sustainability. So the goal here is that each year they will have a different challenge that they will focus on. And this started this year. And the challenge for this year is responsible consumption. So they have a series of targets for the campus, for IE as an organization, that revolve around space, water, energy, paper, plastic, and food. I'm going to mention a couple here because I think they're relevant. For example, in terms of water, their objective is to have 100% reduction in the purchase of bottled water by the end of 2021. So between this year and next, they want to stop selling bottled water, which is brilliant. In terms of paper, they want to go digital, so stop using paper as much as possible, a reduction by 50% of student and staff paper consumption. So they have quite ambitious targets around all of these areas. For plastic, for example, which is relevant for our topic today, they want to build awareness to increase the use of recycled plastic, and they want to implement an ISO standard for the correct management of waste generated by the community. So they have more than 6,000 students on campus in Madrid and Segovia. And yeah, they want to start this chain of change, which is a nice concept. On their website, they also have a dedicated section now to sustainability. The link is probably here somewhere in this presentation. Yeah, so this is sort of the design, the chain of change, a sustainable mindset, and they're going to put their money where their mouth is, so to speak, because they are investing 10 million into this initiative and into the sustainability challenges. So this is the campaign for this year. It's the Me, We. And the Me, We is like, so you do something and you're contributing to the larger we thing of making this planet a better place. They have a bunch of different initiatives. You can see here some of the designs. Me, we, your action is a reflection of who we are. So basically our individual actions summed up create the collective effort of becoming more sustainable. Be the change you want to see in the world. And they believe that through our love for education, research, and innovation, we can transform our students and transform the world. So that's it, pretty much. Now, what I wanted to talk mostly about is also how we, as a club, can sort of contribute to this. Because what we have is alumni, people who are now, let me go back to the beginning, people who are now in their own companies. And each one of us in our own companies are agents of change. And one thing that we would like to see is maybe people looking at these sustainable consumption challenges, the targets that IE University has set for the university, and see whether it would be possible to bring this as a new policy to your company and say, all right, can we stop buying plastic water bottles? Can we do some of these challenges that IE University is doing? And if we manage to do that, even just a few of these companies for which we work, we would amplify actually this challenge from IE, and it would be a really clear and good demonstration of how the alumni community can continue to have a positive impact, even though we're not studying there anymore. If we're still very connected to the university, and if we sort of scale up what they are doing, I think it could be incredibly great, and we can be part of this chain of change that they are talking about. So that's sort of a challenge. We haven't really thought about what this is going to look like, but it's something that the board of directors is thinking about. How can we involve everyone in the club to sort of bring this change to their own companies, and to accompany the 10-year challenge of IE within our own companies as well. So that was it. And now I'm handing over to Meg. I'll make you a host, Meg, for the presentation. There we go. Meg, you might need to let people into the room, like there's a waiting room, and because you're now the host, you're the one that can let them in. All right.
Yeah, I'm starting to. Yeah. So thank you so much, Marta, for the important information about IE. I think it's really interesting to know. I actually requested this recently. I was like, could we know where are we in terms of sustainability of IE? So it's really interesting, and also the fact that they're working towards single-use plastic elimination. That's very interesting. So thank you for your invitation today, and Salah, Nadim, the whole board. I'm very happy to be part of the IE Sustainability and Social Innovation Club. I think you guys are doing great by connecting people and showing us the different ways for a positive change. What I'll do is I'll probably put my screen off because I have people on the waiting room, so I'm going to be clicking on the screen most of the time. And I'm going to move ahead, first of all, with a video to allow also more people to join the webinar. So. Let me know if you can hear it. I'll just request everyone to mute your mics, please.
Meg, as the host, you can mute other people's mics as well if you need to.
Okay. I think it's fine now. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to have an overview of the history and the impact of plastic, the ways the pollution has reached the stage we are on now, some sorts of solution or alternatives that would be ideal for people to consider because there's a huge need for it, a little bit about our company, One Modern World, and a conclusion on some ways of the change that was required. So for an overview, we'll go through the history and the impact. So here we can see how the production of plastic increased drastically from 1950 to 2015, which went from 2.3 million tons to almost 450 million tons by 2015. And the production is expected to double by 2050 if this continues. But why did this happen? Why this huge growth appeared? Well, there's a very simple reason: the increase on the world population and the urban population, but also the way the waste has been managed. Here is a brief history, which you can see that went from generation to generation. So as you can see on the screen, from 1933, which is the year where polyethanol was produced or found by chemists in England and Norwich, which was done actually by error. It was a mistake while producing polymer. It grew to actually what plastic bags are today, because in 1960, Celoplast, which is a Swedish company, figured out how to use this plastic and make plastic bags from it, from thin polyethanol. And soon after, by 1980s, all paper bags globally started replacing by plastic bags. Same time, Coca-Cola introduced the plastic bottles, the 2-liter famous plastic bottles, which today is 110 billion plastic bottles per year. Aluminum in our generation, well, between Generation X and Generation Y, we just grew up with the culture of plastic as a norm, as something normal. And we saw how aluminum trays replaced plastic trays, and how salad bags became a trend to have it around plastic bags. In 1997, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch was discovered. And today, in 2020, which is the Generation Alpha, they find themselves with plastic in animals and birds, fish, and even in fruits and vegetables, which was actually a news in Sky News this week. So literally, we have plastic everywhere. There has been also some positive. We are not completely against plastic and the reusable plastic and the inventions and how plastic has helped manufacturing of products which are reused and improved the life of humans. But obviously there has been a problem with the world waste management, which takes me to the chart here, where you can see per region how it's been managed. So you can clearly see how North America and Europe are leading recycling by 33 and 20%, but South Asia and Middle East and North Africa have open dump waste to up to 75% and 53%. So this practices very significantly by the income of each region, and this could increase 3 times by 2050 if it continues. So this is a major issue and focus for mainly governments to improve. But there's a lot of action from our side that we can do also to improve this. Here are some key facts on plastic pollution. I'll just let you go through them. What I would like to say is that we are really lucky in this generation that we have internet communication, social media, in which we could create awareness and help communicate the impact rapidly. So how long does it take for these single-use items to biodegrade in the environment? I don't know if all of you know this, but let me share some figures. 450 years for a plastic bottle to degrade, 200 years for a straw, 20 years for a plastic bag, 450 years for a plastic food container, and the same amount, 450 years for a single plastic cup. So think about this next time you use one. Pollution, 3 views of pollution: consumer demand, high visibility, and legislation. Only 1 in 5 consumers believe they should be taking personal responsibility on their plastic waste, because 48 of them believe that manufacturers should take the lead on tackling this issue. Or in many times, I also hear my friends and colleagues saying it's government who should take care of this while we keep using it. In September 2018, 89% of consumers, through a survey, agreed that packaging should be changed to more sustainable solutions, and they're willing to spend more for it. And the demand, actually, as a company, we realize that the demand has increased because we are supplying items which are compostable and biodegradable to our clients, and we realize that it's actually in very high demand in the recent years. So over 40% of plastic being produced globally is only for single-use plastic products. Half of them have been done in the last 15 years, with only 9% of them being recycled. So the best 3 known ocean cleanup companies can only today do 0.5% of that volume. So I'd like to have shared more information about the rivers and how the waste is being developed, but let's just go on what the actions that governments are doing towards it. I hear complaints when I speak to friends that they say, oh, I don't think governments are doing enough. But the good news is that UK and Europe are obviously leading the single-use plastic ban. And by 2021, they're going to even prohibit selling many of them. But it's not only them. It's become obviously a global issue. And 127 out of 122 countries have adopted some sort of legislation to regulate plastic bags or some sort of single-use plastic. Even in the UAE, we've seen in the recent years, so from last year at the airport to next year for 2021, 16 types of single-use plastic are going to get banned. And companies such as Carrefour and other large organizations are also taking this as one of the sustainability goals for all their stakeholders. Solution. There's ways that businesses can address waste. We can rethink waste from a circular economy viewpoint. So use waste as a resort. You can redesign the product, you can redesign the process, and make a life analysis to identify the opportunities of waste reduction of each product that you're using and introducing in your company. So the linear economy has always been natural resources. I take the product, I make it, I take the resources, I use it, consumption, and it's gone to waste. No one cares what happened before, after it's gone to waste. Now, with the recent problems that have been obviously widely exposed, they need to understand that raw materials, design, retail, consumption, collection, recycling can go round with zero waste. And you can redesign the process by replacing plastic for example, sustainable packaging, like e-commerce, which obviously is becoming more and more popular in most companies, could be replaced from plastic packaging to reusable or biodegradable packaging. We can conserve water, use materials which are not toxic, that don't contain toxic, and purchase materials that are strong and durable. About One Modern World, we are an enterprise, a social enterprise founded in the UAE, and we're growing regionally, and we plan to expand internationally soon. We implement solutions for environmental issues. So what our aim is, as a team which share the same vision with the same background, which has taken us to work together and believe in what we do, is to present 100% biodegradable, compostable, and reusable products. We keep trying to find the best innovative solutions for the different sectors in the markets and help them become more sustainable. Here are some of our reusable products and disposable products. Did you know that the cups that we use, the paper cups in the water dispensers, are coated with PE plastic, which means that when you throw those cups, it still is not going to biodegrade unless you have poly-free cups. These are small details that we have to explain our clients to make them understand the result of each product that they buy. Our profile of clients are mainly hospitality, government organizations. We've also worked with school foundations and corporations. And as a social enterprise and a startup, we face business challenges. I mean, everyone's been facing challenges this year for sure, but this is something that many startups also face in general, which is a reluctancy to change. For sustainable products, we always find price sensitivity because they obviously see the difference between the cheap plastic cost. Then there's potential changes in operation required at times. There's hesitation to change suppliers, and sometimes they say, okay, but what if I change for half of my products to non-plastic and the other half we want to do it in the later years? So we don't. So sometimes they step back and say, unless we change everything, we don't want to start. I suggest for those companies to share a goal with all the stakeholders, whether it's a 2025, 2030, for example, and explain that this goes through stages and that the final goal is to become sustainable. There's also a lack of knowledge about the products and the processes, which makes them hesitant. So our approach is usually to give a consultation. So the team assesses how the best approach they can have towards step-by-step on changes. We give a proposal, we customize the product, get approvals, then we go ahead with the production and delivery. We explain, which is sometimes confusing, we explain the difference on products between biodegradable, compostable, which is something that people are not used to, and obviously the reusable products that and how long they can use the reusable products. We have different source of materials like bamboo, wood, wheat, and sugarcane, for example, which we try to always share with them, and how long it would take to degrade. Some of the benefits that companies, just to share an example, for a positive impact in the workplace could be taking out the plastic bottles. Here's an example of a company with 180 staff. As you can see, they spend around 57,000 dirhams per year on plastic bottles. By just applying photo filtration, they can have 67% of saving of cost. So the return of investment is in 7 months. And from the year after is only maintenance for 12,000 dirhams, which means not only they're saving costs, but they're also having a total carbon save of 15 tons by just taking plastic bottles out. Here's a little bit about the team. So there's Esther, James, and myself. And we also are supported by a design team in India, sales and marketing in Abu Dhabi, and part-time procurement to check quality control in India for the time. We keep on growing, and our ambition is to have bigger and positive team with us. So to finalize, I'll leave you guys with 5 easy changes for everyone to apply. You can obviously stop using plastic bottles. I just gave the example of the company doing that, but you can easily do that at home as well. And getting water filtration can help you stop buying plastic bottles, which you see everywhere. Instead of plastic bags, we can have paper or biodegradable bags. With straws or cutlery, you can ask the restaurants even what are they made of, so it makes them think twice when they source these products. The buying power that you have for sustainable products, it's the choices that you make. And if you have any questions and engage conversations with your company, you should definitely do that to push in your communities, with your friends, with your family, or in your company, to push actions towards sustainability. Thank you, and I hope you become part of the solution. Now I would like to pass to Nadim, and I'll just try to figure out. Right, put the camera on. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'll stop sharing it and pass to Nadim. There we go. So Nadim, I'm going to make you the host now to continue with
Thank you, Meg. Awesome. All right, I'm just going to mute everybody else. Mike, thanks so much for this presentation. Very insightful, a lot of information I think that we could all benefit from, and learning and understanding, the history. I've never thought of it for something that we take for granted, I guess. Even though we're very much becoming more and more aware of the importance of taking care of, reducing our consumption where plastic goes. Just the history is quite insightful, I think, to also understand where this whole where everything came from, and how do we sort of help people change their behavior. One thing actually I want to do, and now building on Meg's work and basically the insight that she gave to everyone, is to go to a workshop session, basically building on sort of the challenge of how might we all reduce plastic consumption. We're going to go just through a very quick sort of ideation design thinking process. So 2 things I will do. I'll first turn on my camera so you can all see me, and while I give you instructions, and then I will share a link with everyone where I would invite you to join this sort of digital whiteboard that we're going to work on. Just 1 second. All right, I guess everyone can see me now. Awesome. So we have 26 participants. Let's see how we're going to do this. It's not going to be very easy, but if I share my screen. Okay, so I think everybody can see my screen. Maybe I'm just going to unmute one of the other board members so that I can also just get some tips if anything else is going wrong. Where are you, Marta? I'm unmuting Marta.
Hey.
Okay, so you can see the screen.
Yes.
Cool. For anybody else who will have questions throughout this, please just type them in the chat. Just it's easier for everybody else to be able to concentrate, and sort of we can work together once everybody else is muted. So what I've done here is we're going to go through a very quick workshop, basically co-creating together ideas on how we can become more sustainable and single-use plastic free at home or at our workplace. So this was basically a topic that Meg brought forward to us. And what you will all see here is really, I just rephrased it, took it as a what we call a how might we question, so that we can produce solutions related to this. And maybe I didn't also, maybe to do a quick intro for those who don't know, I'm part of I'm part of the alumni sustainability and social innovation board, and basically what I do in my professional life is I'm a facilitator, and I run these design thinking workshops, and a lot of them actually happen virtually and remotely now that the coronavirus pandemic happened. So we thought, why not do this and try it out here with you all and make it a bit more interactive. I call this workshop series sort of the 4 C's: collect, choose, create, and commit. We, in a way, already did this phase by sort of understanding a bit the problem and where it comes from. In fact, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a swap between this. So we're just going to very quickly create solutions to kind of these questions. And then we're going to make quick choices. And these will be done through a voting process. I'll show you how. And then we're going to prioritize it. So one thing that you should know before I invite you to join this board is the following. If you see where my mouse is here, if you need to drag and drop a post-it, then you just click on this, you get a post-it, and you drop it here. Now what I've done is actually I've already predetermined multiple fields for people to work on. So each of those little figures here, each of you as a participant will get one of these rectangles as a field. And the thing we're going to go through is called the crazy 8. So given the question above, the challenge question above, what you're going to do first is you're going to produce 8 solutions, 8 ideas to the question. Really, we're going about quantity, not quality. And then Meg, in the meantime, is going to just look around and see what's going on there. And she might just intervene, you know, for us to maybe be better informed to work on solution number 2. And you can also see, you know, sort of some of the changes that she had mentioned before here for your inspiration, because we can always improve on these ideas. And the reason why we do this as a crazy 8 and we do it twice in 5-minute rounds each is because what I want you to do is to really just dump out the ideas that are sort of, the easiest to think of and the most normal ones and the most typical ones, and maybe try to think a bit outside the box. So we're going to do this as a pilot, and then we see how more of this type of thing we incorporate in future workshops. Once we do this here, what we're going to do is we're going to curate ideas. So I will invite each and every one of you to select the 3 top ideas that you found, or even actually 2 top ideas that you think are the best from whatever you had, you produced in terms of ideas, and post them all here. And then we will do a voting. So everybody will vote on whatever we get here. And then if we have time, we'll prioritize them actually in terms of impact and feasibility. All right, so one more thing you'll see. So once you're joining this, I will click on a timer. So I'll set a timer, for example, for 5 minutes, which means you'll be able to cover each of you in your box the first 8 ideas. Once the timer is done, we'll do a quick review and then we try the next ideas. So, Mira wanted to join. Just going to check the chat to see, are there any questions? I don't see the chat for some reason. Marta, do you see the chat? Maybe you can help me if there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, everything is good. I was just telling you on the chat, all good. I think it's clear what we need to do. It's
okay, awesome.
Like an interesting process.
Right. So, yeah, one other thing to do in the meantime. Sorry, since this has to be frozen. Okay, one request for all of you, please. When you want to actually write on the post-it, just double click on it and then start writing. You need to, of course, zoom in. So yeah, but do not move around the post-it, because then things will start moving around and we will be will be very difficult to follow this whole thing. All right. So this is going to go in the chat. Interesting though that I can't.
Seems like we have to create an account to access
No,
it. Is
yeah,
that right?
no, we don't need to actually. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to change something in the settings here. I'll just stop sharing for 1 minute, because they actually just changed something in the membership. All right, and there it is. Okay, yep, sorry about that. Slight date for this. So now I can go back to this and hopefully it should work. Huh. Sorry guys, slow connection. And there it is. So let's try that again. And if that doesn't work, I'll have to do one more change. So in the chat. Oh, that's the same link. All right, there's something wrong. Damn it. Yeah, Salah, you say, okay, you can get in. Cool. Can you edit? Can you just try to double click on a post-it? And let me just unmute a couple of you as well again.
Hey yo, how do you zoom in?
If you have a trackpad, then with like 2 fingers, just as you would
Okay.
usually. If you have a mouse, then with the wheel. And on the bottom right, so I'll share my screen again, just so you see.
I typed something in and I can see I wrote test, so I
Awesome.
think it's working.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll join. Just so that you see my screen, you can also here just click on Zoom settings, and you'll be able to use your mouse or do a click and drag to move. you can change that trackpad mode or mouse mode. Okay, so again, everyone, we are working on this as our challenge. How might we become more sustainable and single-use plastic-free at home or at our workplace? So seriously, there is no limitation as to what you might think of in terms of this type of question and challenge statement. The solutions can go anywhere from, you know, we need more education on the topic, more presentation, we need, I don't know, fines, whatever, right? So think of any type of solution. Just go wild with all of the solutions and just choose one of these rectangles and let's see what we come up with. So I will start a 5-minute timer now for the first block of ideation. And there we go. And I'll stop sharing my screen because all of you supposedly are already on the other screen. So you're actively working on the post-its. And let's see, maybe we also do some music as people are working.
Mm-hmm. I still haven't got the zooming thing figured out.
No? So it's
Learn
here.
to wait. There's like a thing here. Learn to zoom. What does it say? Zoom settings. Zoom settings.
Yeah, exactly. We have 3 more minutes for this part of the exercise.
I love it that we all have animal things like visiting horse.
Yeah,
visiting
that's when you
horse.
exactly when you don't have an account. Also because they limit it in terms of which type of account you can. So if I invite you all as members, then I would have to pay.
Someone's asking what the music is.
I will share this list. This is Tina Reven.
Danny Smith was correct. Hey, Danny.
About 1 minute left. So Meg, maybe in the meantime you can start sort of looking at people's ideas and Also, let me unmute you. Did it work? Why mute? Okay, I just allowed participants to unmute themselves. So maybe Meg, you can unmute yourself. And in the meantime, yeah, just take a look at some of the people's ideas and maybe let's see what sort of insider bit of input we can give them possibly to go through the second iteration of the Crazy Eight.
Okay. Just nice.
So sorry, what are we doing now?
Yeah, so before, oh yeah, time was up. Sorry, so before we move on to the next iteration of the Crazy Eight, because I wanted everyone to go through 2 iterations. So Meg, being sort of the expert in this on this webinar, we're just going through a bit of the ideas that are already there, and maybe she'll be able to just sort of instigate us to maybe think even more creative. So give us a couple of insights in addition to what she saw maybe here. I would have some examples, right? I see some of them like incentivize recycling. So maybe you can also elaborate on this, like produce ideas from that specific thing. What do you mean by incentivize recycling? These types of things. I don't know, Meg. What do you have to say about the ideas so far?
Yeah, I'm just reading through them. They're really interesting, actually. I like one was like order takeaway food only from the ones that don't give it in the plastic packaging. I like that. Talabat is one of our clients, and we are looking at how to make the packaging more sustainable with restaurants. And I was there when they initially put the option on do not opt for plastic cutlery. So that's something now Deliveroo, Talabat, and all the deliveries are doing. But I think that's a very interesting point, that it should not be only the cutlery, but also the packaging.
Yeah.
So I would definitely suggest that for them to add.
I think that's super interesting because they have leverage over all of these restaurants, right? So they are sort of the network node in terms of the delivery. So they can actually incentivize them in an interesting way, or maybe even imposing, right? That don't use packaging. Otherwise, maybe the commission will be higher or something like that.
So guys, I've put this point, but I also am aware of something. There is a reason why also environmentally friendly packaging is not picking up as much, because some restaurants do use it. It's not very practical, at least at the moment, for all types of food. So some of these packaging are not as impermeable as plastic. Some of them are not as tight when they close as plastic available options. Mm-hmm. So also for us to be able to push, or for them to be logical, because at the end of the day, if the delivery comes filled, it's a problem for Talabat. So for them to be able to push for it, we need to have also options, to develop options from the other side that work perfectly as good as plastic, and that's a bit challenging, I think.
Yeah, that's where
that's where you can actually have a big effect, Meg.
Yeah, we're actually going to introduce a new way of packaging, which is 100% biodegradable, and you can also put it in the oven and microwave, and it doesn't spill, and it can hold curries, for example, which have liquid or sauces or soups up to 15 hours without spilling.
Okay, that's great.
So Yeah, and there's gonna be, you guys are gonna see also like packaging for pizza that you can actually also roll it because it's flexible. So instead of having to like break this pizza box somehow to fit into your into your bin, it's gonna be very easy because it's gonna be sustainable packaging but flexible as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Nadim?
Yes.
I was going to suggest maybe to skip the second crazy 8 thing.
Sure,
just
why
because we're
not?
running into the hour and maybe it would
Exactly.
be good to do the whole exercise.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I mean, for those of you who think you might come up with, again, more novel ideas based on what just this discussion that we had, don't hesitate to put them on. But maybe take the next 2 minutes to just drag and drop the post-it from your own ideas. So one or two of the 8 that you think is most interesting, and put them here in sort of exercise number 3, where it's written curate ideas. So just just select 1 or 2 of the post-its, and it's on to the top right, exercise number 3. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. If you're done with selecting your own the post-its that you think are interesting from your own set of ideas, bring sort of your mouse next to curate ideas number 3, just so that I know that you're done. So I'll see you all there because I see everybody on the screen.
That's a really good one.
Okay. Someone is here probably, right? Visiting squid. I don't know who that is, but I'm bringing your idea too. Okay. So, everybody done?
Mm-hmm.
I still have one person who's still trying to bring. Okay, I'm just gonna summon everybody. Okay. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Let's see. Cool. So what we're gonna do is on these ideas that are here, let's stop the music. We're gonna do a voting session. So this voting session is really for the post-its that are already under exercise number 3, curate ideas. So you should all be there. You see exercise number 3, curate ideas, and you see just a list of post-its that are not very well organized. That's exactly what we should be looking at. So how will this voting session happen? Each of you will have 3 votes. Okay, so you're going to see now a screen pop up in front of you in like 30 seconds that says voting session started. And basically what you just have to do is click on the post-it, and that is 1 vote. You can click again on the post-it, but don't click exactly where your dot appeared, because then you would be taking away your vote. But if you click on that post-it, you'll be able to vote. You can vote for the same post as much as you want until you have no more votes, or you can vote for 3 different post-its. It's up to you, really. Okay. So I'll start the voting session now. So any member of this mural, best ideas, and then next. So did you see a screen that says begin voting?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. So just, it's time to select which of those ideas are the best. Again, we're under question number 3, so we forget all of this grid that we had before, and we just look at the ones that were moved to this space here. And I'm just going to give it even less than 1 minute. So maybe 20 more seconds.
Oh, yeah.
This is fun. This is like those presidential workshop sessions where you write on your Post-it and everyone brings their Post-its to the wall and then you arrange them in groups.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 people have 3 votes left, so maybe they're not participating. But anyways, I'll just end the voting session, and we're going to see the screens coming up. So end session with everyone. Awesome. Cool. So as you see, do you all see the results?
Yeah.
Yeah, so integrating environmental topics into school curriculum got the most votes. It's great, so we should send that recommendation to IE. Reduce your own consumption. That's kind of interesting, but there's a lot more to it, I think. We have to see what do you mean by that. And then we have quite a lot of other ideas that got, less votes. So look, generally speaking, what we would do is we would take the ideas with 5, 4, and 3 votes. So I will do that just to put them on the sides. So this, and so to finalize it, what I would suggest we do is maybe if I select people at random, just for the sake of the exercise, because we don't have much time anymore. So let me go through this. So Meg, you're going to be on this because this is your expertise. And let's see who else is active. Danny, member of the board. Davina, you've been selected. I don't, if you're active, maybe I'll unmute you. If you're active, please just write something on the chat. Is Davina active? So the 3 of you that I just selected are gonna take these ideas that I have now put in a column, and you're gonna place them in the chart below in terms of, instead of importance, please read impact and feasibility, right? So the whole idea is that anything that is highly feasible, so it requires little effort, let's put it this way, and then very impactful, so the top right corner, is what we start to do immediately. So just let's do it for the sake of the exercise. So go ahead, the 3 people that I've selected to do this, because if we are more people, then decision will take much more time, and just rank those. So feasibility is a measure of how easy it is to do it. If it's high, then it really requires no effort. And importance is really impact. And if it's high impact and high effort, high impact and high feasibility, it's something we should do right away. So to make it very quick and not give you a lot of space to think, let's just do it in 1 minute. I know we're a bit over time, but should be done in like 30 seconds. All right, 1 more of these ideas, the one that got 5 votes. Right. Awesome. So we have a preliminary ranking. So I'm just now going to share my screen so that we all can see it. Or actually, I think we're all looking at the same screen, so that's fine. Just zoom in, everyone, maybe on the sort of prioritized graph of importance and feasibility. So obviously, if we were to make a choice today, I guess, and you know, generally these things would take at least 90 minutes only for the workshop part. But what we would decide to do is, you know, we would go for reducing your own consumption, because this is something that has the highest visibility, so lowest effort per se, but also from that perspective, the highest impact potentially. So this is something that, in order to get us, you know, with a bias for action and start taking action immediately, we would start with this sort of idea to start with, and then we would move as much as we can left. So anything that really requires more effort to do, but has better impact, then we could do those on a long-term basis. So short-term first solutions are top right, and then we move as much as we want to the left, but staying in the higher part of the graph for longer-term solutions. You know, like integrating into school curriculum and behavioral insights. Of course, it takes a lot of time. And by the way, for those, just a small quick resource, there's a podcast called My Climate Journey, really interesting. And in one of the episodes, he interviews BJ Fogg, which is the writer and the founder of the Stanford Behavioral Design Lab. And he speaks of two things in terms of behavioral design, two maxims. One is called, you know, number one is help people do what they already want to do. And number two is help them feel successful. And this is how you create people that become advocates of your cause. And then how you create systems change. So with that little nugget of knowledge on behavioral change, because I like that it's there, yeah, I'll wrap it off for this workshop, and I'll hand it back to Marta. Thanks everyone for your participation, and I hope it was helpful.
Thank you very much, Nadim, and thank you, Meg. I think this was very interesting. I really liked your presentation, Meg. Thank you for telling us everything that you did. And thank you, Nadim, for this session. That software seems like an awesome way for a lot of people to collaborate. And I think that it's something that has a lot of potential to do, you know, longer sessions and to really brainstorm and come up with these ideas. And thank you to everyone who stuck around to the end. I hope that you found the exercise interesting. So I'll say goodbye now. And thanks again, guys. Bye.